Hello and welcome to Hobby Vlog number 153. As seems to be the regular thing, I've spent quite a lot of time doing software development, working on Tony and other software like the Anthems of War character builder, though less of that this week because I didn't get much time. But I have managed to hobby. I have managed to get some hobbying with Rosie again. I've managed to finish the TCU diorama and various other things. Now the one project which is missing from this week is the dropship diorama, which I really wanted and hoped to get some time on this week. But any time I've spent on it has basically just been me staring at it. I'm not sure how to go ahead in the next step. Still thinking about it. So hopefully next week you'll see something. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and I'll see you again at the end. So this has been sitting on my workbench for a while. I don't think I'm going to do anything more to this. The more I look at it, the more I like it. So I'm just going to leave that there. So what I need to do now is work on the shelf. So I've got some wood, which is an offcut of another shelf that I cut down, and the width of this is 25 centimeters. So my initial thought was to cut a bit of the shelf 25 centimeters wide and then trim it back however long I want, and that'll be good. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking I might actually do it to the size of this packaging. So I'll do it that width and that depth, and then I'll stick this on top, have this stuck down on the front, and then this can just sit on top of like that, or however I want. And I think that'll look quite nice. It's going to be a little bit deeper than I want it to be, so the only alternative I've got to that is actually to cut it so it's made like this, and then cut this here and stick it on front. But in terms of the width, that's going to be the right width. So I'm going to measure that, take it down to my table saw, rip this down to 20 centimeters wide, and yeah, then have a play around with actually how deep I want it. So I'll do the first cut. Have a look at the play, bring you back and show you what I've decided. Alright, so I've spent quite a bit of time thinking about this, and I think I've come up with what I want to do. So as you can see, I've trimmed this down like I said I would. So we've just got the logo. What I've also done is cut some strips so that I can glue those on the side. So we've got 2 strips there, and somewhere here I've got one for the front as well, which I did cut. I'm not sure where it's gone. Oh no, don't need to cut that front, do I? Because that's going to go on the front, so that'll be hanging down there. The other thing that I've decided to do is, rather than mount this on the wall underneath it, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to screw and glue it onto the bottom of the frame. So I'll get my drill 2 small holes through here, and then glue this in place, and then when that's been glued, I will screw it in place, and then I will use my 90 degrees here just to make sure it stays completely square. That was very loud, oops. So anyway, the first thing I'm going to do before I do any of that screwing and gluing and what have you is I'm going to need to stick these in place. So I've got some PVA glue, and I'm going to try and do this all at once if I can. So I'll put some glue on the sides, just a little bit, don't need loads. And then I will clamp that in place so that it dries. There we are, that's good. The funny thing was, while I was cutting these end bits, I actually found the magnet, tried to cut through it. So that's going to go on the inside, that little bit of damage is going to go on the inside, like so. But I'm going to need to clamp these in place. So I might end up not getting the greatest of footage of this. Put a little bit more glue on that, it's soaked in a bit. I'll put a little bit more glue on both sides actually, just to be a little bit more on the, just to be certain. There we are. So yeah, so I'm going to get those glued on and clamped.
And then I'm going to try and do the front as well and clamp it, but we shall see. Now I don't know if my small clamps are going to be big enough for this. They're not. Right, let me just quickly grab some bigger clamps. Well, I've ended up having to get the really big clamps out, and I think I might just do this over multiple gluing sessions. So I'll glue these side ones on, let them dry, and then glue the front on, let that dry, and then glue. But I might be able to glue the top on, because I can do that with a weight. Yes, I'll glue the top on and I'll weight them down with these, and then I'll glue the front on separately, because yeah, that's not going to work, is it? So anyway, yes, I'll get that glued down now, and I'll bring it back when I've done all of the gluing and I'm about to start doing the drilling. As you can see, I got my clamp on and I think that these are all glued on fine now. I'm literally checking while I'm on camera. I did have a problem with the top, in that when I initially glued it down, one side didn't actually adhere properly, so I had to put some more glue on and use these little clamps. But that's now looking really, really cool. So the next thing that I want to do, and I have done a test of this on here, is I'm going to use my Liquitex matte varnish, and I'm going to varnish over all of this, so over the top and the sides, just to seal it and make sure that it can't get damaged too easily. So I'll do that off camera because you don't need to see that. So I'll clear away all of these clamps, and then we're going to have a look at doing some drilling on the frame. Right then, so here is the shelf and here is the frame, and I'm going to drill through from the front end, because I don't want to, I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark some crosses. I think I'm going to put 3 screws in. So we'll drill in these 3 locations. Move that out of the way now. I will use a bradawl to start the hole, because then my drill won't slip. And then what I'll do is I will use my rotary tool to do the actual drilling. I'm not going to use a large drill to do this. I want to do quite a thin hole. I'm going to do long thin screws. So yeah, I have my Dremel out here now. Here we are. So I'll get that done. I won't do that on camera because it's going to make a nasty noise. So I'll drill through those, and then once the gloss or once the matte varnish is dried on the actual shelf, I'll screw it in place first, I think, and then filler. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. The alternative is for me to glue it in place and then put the screws in through the glue. I'm kind of umming and ahhing on that, but you'll see what I do because I'll bring you along. So I'll get this drilled, get the varnish on, and then we're nearly done to put this back on the wall, which is really cool. Alright, now we come to the fun part. So I've got a lump of 10x10. I've clamped down the base to that 10x10. I've put some screws in already, prepared the screws. And now what I'm going to try and do, whether this works on camera or not is another question. But what I'm going to try and do is get these screws in. So let's see. So I've got one a little bit in. This is actually going to be really hard to do while filming, I think, but hopefully you're getting the impression. Needs to be upright. This is hard work. What I should almost do is, now I've got that one, now I've got the middle one kind of holding it, I should probably drill a guide hole through on the outers, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm going to do that on a faster setting and get it to go in a bit easier. Let's see, shall we? Oops, that came undone. But I think I've got the first one in. So let me just get a little bit more light on that. So yeah, I've got the first screw in, as they say. Now let's see if I can get this one in. There we are. There we have it. So if I put that on there, there we have what I wanted to do. So I'm going to go and hang this on the wall now, and then I'll show what it looks like. Well, there it is. Done. Very pleased with that. That has turned out perfectly. Very happy with the little display. Now I need to do the other ones. Got more from Patrick Jones. One there and one there. I don't know whether they've got any resin. I can't remember. But either way, very pleased with that. I'm very happy with how it looks. And had a lot of fun making that, and getting it on display is just awesome. So yeah, and I'm glad I had the idea to just like attach it to the frame, because otherwise we'd been drilling in here, and it wouldn't have been able to be moved somewhere else if we want to put it up somewhere else. So yeah, that's worked out really well. Brilliant. Project complete. Well, I've been slowly, and the operative word is slowly, working my way through this long task of chopping these down to the 45cm tile size. You can see these two are done. I thought I'd just show you how I was doing it and the thought process that goes behind it, because it's actually not that simple. Because where you've just got a plain C1, that's easy, just trim it down to 45. Where we've got land, we need to make sure the land still butts up. So my decision basically has been to leave the land the same size. So on this one I'll measure from here, 45cm cut, from here to there, 45cm and cut. So let me just show you how that goes. It's also quite difficult actually cutting through the land, because it's sand and it's very, very hard wearing. It's designed to be hard wearing. That was the point. So yeah, on this one I'm not going to have to cut through the land as it happens, because I'm just going to be measuring from this corner. You can see how warped they are, and how much it's going to make a difference to get these stuck onto my base, onto the wooden frame. But I need to get all of these cut really before I can do that. So I'm coming along and find my 45 and make a mark. Then go to the other side, find my 45 and make a mark, and then very carefully find my mark there, find my mark there, and then carefully cut down. That's my mark there. Carefully cut that strip off. And I'm just throwing the strip away. I'm not too confident I've got that. Yes, it is definitely that. So I'm just throwing the strips away. I'm not trying to save them, which is a shame. But making it so that it can actually fit on my table is too much of an important thing to not do this, because I'd never use these because they overhang. So yeah. So I'm just going to keep going. Same thing. That's 45 now, good. So let's go along this, find our 45. There's some that are going to be quite difficult. The bridge that I made for the Battle Games of Middle-earth is going to be very, very difficult for me to cut down. Indeed, I've had a look at it and I don't actually know how I'm going to manage it. But I'm sure I will manage it. It's a bit difficult. There we are, got it. Make sure I've got that right. Yep, perfect. So it's just a tedious job, because I made quite a lot of these. I'm not looking forward to the ones that I've already glued down to the frames that are too big. That's going to be awkward, because I have to take them off the frames without damaging them, which might be quite difficult. Anyway, there's another one done. So yeah, it's not a bad little task to do when you're not feeling very creative about other things, because you can kind of switch your brain off, measure 45, cut, measure 45, cut, done. Onwards. Well, it's the 5th of October, and I just sat there thinking, oh, I wonder what bust I'm going to paint this month, and I realised it's the 5th of October and I've not started, and I finished this one so early last month that I completely forgot I finished it. It's been on my shelf for a good couple of weeks because I had a lot of fun doing it. It was really, really nice one to paint, and yeah, I really enjoyed doing like the little orangey glows that you can see from his wounds. It was just a fun sculpt to paint. The thing that I'm most pleased with is if I zoom in on his blade, I managed to get some really nice detail on the blade. So I'm pretty proud of this one actually. So proud I'm going to zoom right in on it because I don't normally do that. But yeah, probably my best one so far, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, so that was September's. October is going to be this one. So let me move him out of the way and move her in. This is the last of the normal busts that I'm going to do this year. Hopefully I'll find it just as easy as the previous one because I've got such a busy month this month. I've got very, very little time to paint, so I'm going to have to start. I'm annoyed at myself for losing 6 days just completely by being forgetful. So I'll get that primed up and start painted, and hopefully have that done by the end of the month. The next month's is just epic. I'm very excited about. It's a big new one from Printermancer, which I've printed out. I've had it sat on my desk for a month or so now. It's actually why I remembered about the bust, because I was looking at it. But yeah, anyway, let's get on with this, and I will show you what it looks like when it's finished at the end of the month. Well, here we have my wizard for which I need to finish. I've finished painting him, and now I'm going to start to base him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some scenic glue, scenic paint, as you can see, to the bottom of this. And then I'm going to put some sand on it, and then when that has dried I will seal it again. It's the same technique as I use for doing my scenery, and it works very, very well. So put a little bit of paint on. I'll do most of this off camera. Then if I lift the camera up a bit, actually, I'm struggling a bit with daylight, which is why the camera is so low and it's not great visibility. But what you do is you just throw your sand on it, same way as you do for when you're doing terrain. And you can see we've got some sand on the base. So I'll do the rest of that now, then seal it over with the same black paint, paint it the same as I did the terrain, and then we'll be done. I'm not sure how well this is going to film, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do anyway, and then if it doesn't film well I'll probably continue off camera. So as you can see, I've started to paint, and I've done quite a nice, I'm happy with the paint job for the bottom of the aeroplane. And if we have a look at this, you can see that there's a nice strong line that needs to go along here to underneath the ring, and then here there's a little bit of a kind of an interesting curve. So the light bit that I've done is here, and then you have to do a darker colour on the top. And I have this masking tape, which is actually proper masking tape that cost me a fortune, and I've had it for years and never touched it. Just had it in this little kind of receptacle, which is quite cool. And what I'm going to do, let's see how well I could do this, is run a line, so I don't actually want that bit, run a line of it along the bottom of the, there we are, that cuts nice. And what it does is it goes from the bottom underneath this little nacelle here. It goes, that's the front, yeah, so it goes in a straight line back to the, like that. Come on. There we are. So I'm going to mask that like that. There we are. And then at the back here, it actually needs to be a little bit straighter, so I'm going to need to put another one in that goes from here and then allows me to, because what I need to do is mask off where I want the white to be, so it actually does go a little bit. So this is quite hard. So I think I want to do that. There we are, that's better. There we are, that's better. So that's the line. And then I'm going to need to put a little bit more at the back here to cover off. So that's just out of shot. to cover this little bit here. So I'll finish this off camera because it's a bit difficult to do on camera, but at least you've started to see the process. And then when that's done, I'll turn it over and I'll paint all the top in this darker colour, and then we're going to get the wheels in, put the additional bits and pieces that go on top as well that we painted in black, and then I can start working on the base for it, which obviously is the bit that I'm very excited about. But I'm also very excited just to be working on this again because time has not been my friend this last week, and I expected to get this done right beginning of the week and actually be painting by today, but it is what it is. Life is what it is. I'll finish masking and I might actually bring you along for the painting, show you what it looks like masked, and then bring you along a little bit for the painting because that might be quite cool. Right, so I've given that a good go. I'm not massively happy with how I've done the tail, but it'll do. But yeah, so that's masked off, so now we're going to be able to paint the top. But I've decided that I'm going to actually stick the cover on, stick the cockpit on, because actually I need to paint most of this cockpit, which is a bit odd. I'm not sure why they did it like that. It would have been better to have had the plastic, have the cockpit kind of slot in from underneath, and because you've got to paint all of this around, it's just the bubble that stays unpainted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that in place, leave that overnight, and then I'll prime it, and then I'll paint everything the same. So I need to prime that basically, but I have finished inside there. So this is okay, and I'm actually just going to use a little bit of super glue gel to do this. So I think that's going to be the best way to achieve what I need to. But it does mean I'm not going to be able to paint this tonight, which is a shame, so I was going to. But I do need to get this in place. But what I might do, I'm just having a bit of a quiet evening of not much hobbying, but I just want to get this done. What I might do is start to assemble the undercarriage. So I think that might be the next thing to do. So there we are. I am not going to paint that until tomorrow because super glue destroys brushes. So yeah, a little bit more, a little bit further along. So I might have a look at these undercarriage, see if I can start to assemble them. But otherwise, I'll leave that until tomorrow. Well, this is an exciting moment. My Anthems of War book has arrived, which is very, very cool. So this is written by Ryan, who is the guy that created the TCU Discord, and I've been spending a lot of time working on a list builder for him for this, and I've had great fun with it, which is on his website, so you can go and check that out if you want to see it. I think it's on there now. If not, it'll be on there soon. We're just testing it. But I ordered from Blurb his book, and you can see it's still in the packet, so I'm going to open that now and give it a good new book sniff. So yeah, let's get that done. Right, that is a good smell. And one of the best things about this, but I mean the rules are brilliant. I would really recommend, if you're into wargaming, that you go and check it out and go and buy it. It's really, really worthwhile. But he spent lots and lots of time getting the art down and telling stories in the pictures. So it's well worth getting because the rules are great. And I'm not just saying that because you're my mate. They really are. But the artwork is just absolutely fantastic. And actually, you should sell these as prints. I'd buy them. So there we are. So that arrived. I'll be trying to get some solo games on the channel of this to show it off and show off the list builder and all the other stuff. But I'm very pleased that's arrived because, yeah, I think I'm only the, other than Ryan, I think I'm the second person to receive one of these. So that's pretty cool as well. There we are. It's been a good day. Not only have I received Anthems of War, I've received what's in this box. And what's in this box is a game which I tried to back on Kickstarter and it didn't get funded, and I stayed in touch with the creators and they put it onto a Polish Kickstarter. I have actually painted some miniatures from it about a year or so ago. Did a video of that. It's called Sabre and Blood. And yeah, so finally I have finally received it. So I have the miniatures. They actually sent me the miniatures before, but I have more miniatures this time because there are more. That's cool. There are more of the more factions. So there's a load of miniatures. I'll do a proper unboxing of this in a separate video, which won't be on the vlog. So I'm not going to go into huge depth. We're going to have a quick look at it. The funny thing is everything's in Polish, so that's obviously going to make it very, very difficult for me to play. I did have a plan of getting some translations done, and I might yet, so I might have to take pictures and send these and get them printed onto labels and stick labels on, because I would love to be able to play this. So yeah, you've got all these cards. These are all different factions and different ways of playing, different factions. We then have the character cards. Now I ended up printing a lot of these out, but I never actually ended up playing it. I do have an English version, so I might even be able to just print those out and use it. But let me get the box out, remove it from its bubble wrap and stop making lots of noise, and then we'll have a quick look at it. Right then, here we are. Polish Sabre and Blood. How do we get into it? Ah, that's quite a nice little way of doing it. So I'm not sure why I've got two sets of I've got more cards inside here. Maybe they've actually, you know what? Maybe they've sent me the factions that were not in the core set as well. I'm not sure. So we've got a bunch more cards that will all need to be translated. It's going to cost me a fortune if we're going to get that translated. We've got a bunch more of the character cards. We've got some dice. They even sent me these dice the first time, but just with stickers on. So it's nice to have the real ones. We have the instructions. Now I do have this in English, so that's okay. So I'm going to be able to play that. We have a turn marker. We have some tokens. And we have the playing boards. Now, I also actually got this printed out on metal. I mean, I was really into this when it first stopped working. So I actually got this board here printed in metal, so I have that. But I do have the other places, so like a camp scene, and looks like a library or a church, maybe a church even, yeah. We've got a ravine here in a forest. And we've got like the steps going into a house, and we've got a spooky graveyard, and then the bar, which is the one that I have. Now the other final thing that I got, and let me just get this out of its plastic. Here we are. Is an awesome T-shirt. Isn't that cool? So that's going to be going. It's going to be going into my. What I wear into the rotation of clothes. So there we are, Sabre and Blood, Polish version. I have no idea if I'll ever get to play it. I've no idea if I'll spend the lots of money it will take to get all the cards translated. I wish they would go to an English version, but I'm happy to have it. I'm not sure. It's been a very long time. It's been years. And I was very into it and then kind of moved on a bit. But now it's arrived, we'll see. I will definitely be painting the miniatures up because they are awesome. Look, you've got a wolf. What calls that? Their sculpting and casting is impeccable. So yeah, but I'll do a proper unboxing. We'll go for everything probably in another video on the channel. But I'm glad it's here. Well, not long after I finished filming last time, I broke everything. Leg fell off, and then when I was trying to fix the leg, the end of the tail fell off. And it's a good thing the camera wasn't on because yeah, I did swear at that because that was quite frustrating. Anyway, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get to filling again just to reinforce it. So as you can see, I've clamped this in place. It's actually been a week. I've been very, very, very busy. So I'm actually going to get some not Fevibond, that's not what I want. Get some filler in around the legs, let them completely seal them. And then I can stick the tail back in, filler that as well. I just think I need to go a little bit more steadily, and that should hopefully resolve it. Just a little bit frustrated. Like I say, I managed to get these spikes on and then the legs fell off. So anyway, that's the update. I'm going a bit slower on this than I hoped. I have obviously also got to finish off doing the wings, so I've got some filler in to do there and a couple of claws to put onto these, and then there will be the rest of the claws wherever they go. I think there's some down the back of the tail there. There's some spaces for some of these spikes to go. So yeah, so I'm just going to carry on with that. Lots and lots and lots of filling. Really difficult model to put together, but I don't think it's too far, and I'll be able to start painting, which is obviously what I'm looking forward to. And of course, I also need to get this little one done. Little Bilbo. So, but yeah, there was a lot of very bad language when that happened. As you know, I hate waste, and this was a failed print. It was supposed to have someone being suspended between these two horns. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into some scattered terrain that will be really useful for like my Farharad and what have you. So it's going to be a very simple little project. Just going to paint it up, put a little bit of scatter on the bottom to make it look nice, paint these, paint the little hooks, and then it'll be done. But yeah, never throw things away. You can always come up with an idea. As rubbish as it looked, it will now look pretty good, I think, when it's finished. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Well, that's done. Really pleased with this. We've got our little wizard here, who is the guy who has created all of this awesome weirdness. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I've had these in my box of goodies to do something with for a very long time. And so to finally have these on something is just wicked. And the duck was new, and that's I've had for a while, and I've had this for a while. So yeah, it's taken some stuff out of my pile of junk and turned it into something, and turned it into something quite creative, I think. I plan to hopefully do a game on this, actually playing Anthems of War. Now, if you want to, you can buy this now. It's available on a self-printing service. Mine arrived the other day. So I plan to play a solo game using this terrain and maybe something else, showing off some of the rules, showing off the list builder, which I've written for Ryan. So yeah, so that will be coming out on the channel at some point, hopefully soon. I'll need to have more terrain than I've got here, but I've deliberately made this look a little bit like the stuff I made for the offcuts with XPS, which was a really fun project I worked on. So I'll populate the rest of the table with that. So I'll try and get some of that done relatively soon if I can, and get it onto the channel. But go away and order your Anthems of War. Go and get it ordered in. It's a brilliant set of rules. You'll really like it. Really flexible, totally mini agnostic, scale agnostic. Just fun all the way through. So yeah, go and check that out. But I'm very pleased to have finished this project, and I'm going to get some pictures and get them sent over so they can be put into the little challenge that we're doing. But I can tell you what, you will really should look forward to the video showing off all the entries for this challenge, because some of the other guys have just absolutely blown it away and knocked it out of the water. There's some really, really cool creativity coming out this month. But anyway, that's done. Pretty pleased. Well, today I hope to get some time hobbying with Rosie, and I'm just going to do a little bit of prep so that we can actually do some stuff together. The first thing to say is I did screw up. First of all, I painted this as wood. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, because I will be doing the load of texture over it anyway, so that will be getting covered over whatever. But you can see that the original base that I did just isn't big enough. But that's not the biggest thing and the worst thing in the world. It'll be fine. I'll be able to work that out. The second thing, so what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to glue that down. I'm going to do that with Rosie. What I am going to do is draw around this and just make it onto this bigger base. Get it glued down to this bigger base. Now, I think the best way to do this is actually to not worry too much about shaping it just yet. Get this stuck in place, then carve it, because I think that's going to make it easier to get it a completely natural shape. So I'm going to cut the end off. It's going to be a big piece, this. I don't seem to make small pieces. A good sharp knife is really, really cool. There we are. And now what we can do is, with Rosie, I will be able to come along and she can apply the glue underneath, which you'll see when I get to it, hopefully, and then put weights on it and then leave that. I'll probably use the grabby glue so she can have a lot of fun with that. And then what I'll do is get this glued in place as well. But I am going to have a quick look at the instructions, just make sure I've not made any more mistakes. As someone said, I could do with her not could do with her reading the instructions for me. But I think on top of that there is a tower that goes, so having the inside as wood is not a problem. I think that will work fine. But yeah, I might want to put the tower onto this before I stick this down, but I'm not sure. But anyway, hopefully today get to do some of this with Rosie. We'll see. She's actually not very well. You can tell I've got a sniffle as well. It's just that time of year, and yeah. So hopefully we can get some time together, and I can have some hobby time with her, and I'll of course turn the camera on if I do. Well, I'm making a start. I might not be exactly hobbying today, but I put in a lot of time in tidying and clearing. And what I'm starting to do is move all the stuff which is in here. I aim to clear pretty much all of this area today if I can get the energy up, as I've spent a lot of time upstairs in the roof. So let's take you up there and show you what that's looking like now. As you can see, I've put in a lot of time up here. So everything's getting very much organised. It's probably going to need to be moved again actually, but for now this is pretty good. So remember the big pile that was there, that's all been cleared. I've saved what I wanted, put it on racks over here, reorganised a lot of stuff. There's a lot of these stuff here which was up the other end, which I'll show you in a second. That's now been moved and tidied. This is all my camping stuff. And then these are the new racks that I've just put up. I'm going to start transferring things onto. I've already brought up one pile of display boxes to put over there. So yeah, pretty happy with that. This is all of the, so this is all of the stuff that I basically decided to save out of that huge pile of polystyrene, which used to spread pretty much all the way out to here, all the way out to here. Pretty crazy. I've got large bits of polystyrene there, so that's good. Now the plan up here is, I've basically most of the time I've spent clearing this end, which was an absolute full of stuff, because hopefully this winter we're going to start the men on putting some insulation and sorting the floor out. So we're going to seal the floor and put hardware and carpet down. You can see where I've painted yellow on the floor. That's where the corridor is going to be. So there's going to be storage at the back here and at the back here, and then it's going to open out into a nice little room here looking out onto our roof terrace, which is outside there. Now my plan is to have all of this done floor wise all the way back to where the wall kind of comes there, and then go all the way across. So basically do half of the roof. I want to put this what we call Gibbs, which is plasterboard, and I have lots and lots and lots of rolls of insulation, but not enough. I need to buy more. But I'm going to insulate and plasterboard all of the roofs, all the ceilings. I'm going to plaster and seal all the walls, and then put a skim on the floor, and as I say, put hardware and carpet down. Now at this point here where it goes yellow across here, I'm going to have a double door put in there, and so where I'm standing now will be completely isolated from back there, which is going to be storage, and maybe later on a bit of a model railway as well, but for now just storage. So we'll be able to keep the dust completely out of this area, and this will be a nice area for us to have to make use of a little bit more, which at the moment we can't. But that does mean that also we'll be putting flooring down all the way here, all the way back. Going to have to do something about this water pipe. I might just get them to dig a trench and put it inside the floor, to be honest. That's our water tank there for in case our water goes off. But we'll have pretty much right the way back to here done, and the floor will be good. New floor, and then carpeted. And then what I'll do is once that's done, then we'll be able to move things from this side over to that side, and then we can do the same for the rest of the roof space. You see we've got a lot of room up here, so there's lots of things that we can do. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to get back to it. Just thought I'd do a little update. This hasn't been a little update, it's been a big update. I'm going to fill these racks, and then I'll have empty racks downstairs I can bring up, and then I can fill them, and then downstairs will be empty, and I'll be able to start moving the model railway stuff out of the way, and then I can start to plan my model railway, which, as you know, I'm very, very excited about. So yeah, it's all about things you need to do before you can do other things, but I'm getting those things you need to do out of the way, so soon enough I'll be able to do the other things. Well, I did have the camera running, but it stopped. I think it got to its maximum recording time probably. But you can see I've got loads done. Cleared that corner, which was one of my main targets. Emptied a lot of these racks, which is awesome. And yeah, moved a load of stuff upstairs, which I'll show you in a second. And I've got a big bag of rubbish as well. I need to get better at not hoarding. But I'm absolutely exhausted. It's taken me about an hour and a half to do that. But yeah, really pleased. I've got a little bit more tidying to do, which I can do tomorrow. Just to finish this off, I've got to stop now. But let's quickly bob upstairs and I'll show you what it looks like up there. Well, here we are. As you can see, we've got racks now, all full of stuff, which is really cool. I've got to put a dust sheet over this back rack. That's where I put my terrain. Got to lift the Eye of Smaug up onto the top as well. But I'll do that when I get my dust sheet on there. But yeah, pretty much moved everything that I wanted to upstairs. So I've got a little bit more tidying to do downstairs, but it has taken about an hour and a half, and now it's time for me to stop doing this and do something else, which is hobbying with Rosie. Right then, Rosie is most insistent that it's time for hobbying, aren't you? You just dragged me in here, not that I had much persuading. So what we're going to do, and I've not yet told you what we're going to do, what we're going to do is we're going to glue this down onto this, using this cool glue, which I call my super grabby glue. And you can help me with that. So, what we're going to do, you guide it, and I'll squeeze, because it takes a bit of squeezing. So what we want to do, if you help, we're going to apply the glue to the bottom like this. Okay. Yeah. And then I'm going to press again. I'm going to keep going all the way around. And up. I'm going to squeeze again. Let's come back here. And you're going to guide it again. Keep going. Woo, doing a very good job, love. There we are. And then we're going to do W's or M's. Let's do some M's, shall we?
Yeah, and some D's.
So M's. There's an M. Should we do a D?
Yeah.
You like being a doctor, don't you? MD stands for medical doctor. There we are. And then we're going to do a squiggle. Squiggle!
No.
There we are. Right, that's all the glue we need. Very good. So what we're going to do now, if you help me with this as well, just take it like this. You going to help?
Yeah.
And actually, I'll do that. I'll do that bit because that's going to be a bit easier. We're going to press that in there. And then what I need you to do is press down on it. Get yourself over there and press down really hard. Really hard. Hard as you can. Keep going. Good girl. There we are. Good gluing. Good gluing. Ah! And then put some weights on it. And then the last thing that we're going to do today, right now, is we're going to glue this in. Okay, so that's going to glue in there, and we're going to use PVA. So I'm going to go and get you a brush, and then you can spread the PVA all over that piece. Okay, you going to do that? So we'll put some like that. Right, if you take the brush, can you spread that out for me, please? Spread it all over. Just be bold. Very good. That's exactly it. Good girl. Yep, like that. All over everything. Spread, spread, spread. That's it. That's it. Spread, spread, spread. I've put a bit too much glue on, so in a minute I'm going to take some glue off, and then you can take over again. Right, I'm just going to remove some of the glue because I put a little bit. Oh dear.
I don't like that.
You're going to go and wipe that. Okay. No, you don't want to get glue on you, do you? There we are. I put too much glue on, so when you come back you can take over again.
I will take over.
There we are. Right, right. Keep going like this.
Oh, don't tell me.
Don't tell. I've got to tell you. You've got to be told to learn. That's it. Scrape from where the glue is. That's it. Yep, like that. Keep going. Get it all covered. Every single bit of it needs to be covered. So a little bit more here. And up here. That's it. Perfect. Good girl. Very good. A little bit more. Oh, you got a bit more in you. Don't worry, it'll dry. Right, we're stopped anyway now. That's enough now. So when you come back, you can help me to put it in place, because that's enough glue on there. Right, so turn this over, okay? Put it in there, and I need you to press it down. Press it down really hard. There we are. And what we're going to do again is we're going to get some more weights, okay? Because we want this to stay exactly where we put it. So I've got some weights here, so I'm going to put a weight there. And I'm going to put a weight there. And that will do. So there we are. Did you enjoy that? Was that a nice quick hobby?
I like that one.
Yeah, we need to put the lid back on the glue, don't we? Do you want to do that? There we are, pop the lid back on the glue. That's it, like that, yeah?
You do it.
There you go. Right, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's dried. I did with Rosie earlier. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to get the rest of the build done, just so that tomorrow we can get on with some fun things like modelling compound. So yes, I'm going to try to lift these. Hopefully it's not glued it down by mistake. Nope, that's good. Yeah, so I'm going to get the towers done and the entrance done, and hopefully get them all glued in and finished, so that tomorrow me and Rosie can do the next bits. So what I'm working on at the moment is removing all of the blanks, and I'm going to start to assemble it now. I'm not going to film very much, but if there's something I think that's going to be interesting, then I'll pop the camera on. But mostly I'm just going to try to get this done as much as possible. It's possible, and maybe likely, that I don't actually finish it tonight, because this is a real pain in the backside to make. So so there's a strong likelihood that it's not tomorrow I get to do the rest of it with Rosie, but I'm going to make a crack and try and get it done if at all possible. So this is where I've got to as of Sunday morning. You can see that I've got one of the towers on. I've got the main tower at the back on. I actually built this one wrong. You need to make sure that you get your greenery on the outside. So I've had to take that apart and put that back together again, but that's fine. It's pretty much ready to fit in place. The next things will be to put the walkway around here, and then probably me and Rosie will be able to hobby on this today, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it hasn't been so bad to put together. I certainly did not stick this wall down very well. You can see just how much it's not in there. It's really quite badly lifted. I did a pretty bad job of that. That was that time when I was trying to hobby with Rosie and getting a little bit stressed. But the rest of it's gone pretty well, and I think the second one of these, if and when we get to it, will look a lot better. But yeah, I've been enjoying this this morning. Did a lot of this morning as well as last night, yeah, it was good to get some progress on it. But later on, hopefully, Rosie is still not very well. Hopefully we'll still get some time and we can do a little bit of work with the modelling compound. So there you are. What a busy day yesterday was. That time lapse, unfortunately the camera just stopped recording. I think it's got a maximum amount of time it can be recording continuously for, which is really annoying because it's got plenty of storage, and it just cut off and I didn't realise. So there was would have been about twice that much, but that would have been really boring, wouldn't it? But anyway, very pleased to have done that. Got a little bit more of that to do today, and then I can start to plan for the model railway. I've got a few big projects starting this next week as well, so I look forward to that. But I've got a shortened week because I'm travelling next weekend, so yeah, we'll see how much we can get done. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. I do reply to every single one of them. I'm going to say a bit of a more hopeful message from Ukraine, maybe, based on the events yesterday. But my thoughts and my heart goes out to any one of you who is indirectly or directly impacted by that horrible war. And if you know anyone as well, then thoughts go out to you. And I'll wrap up, as always, by saying please to everyone, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.